Okay, I think we are live. Let's just check a couple things here. Okay, yeah, I think everything is working now. Hi, everybody. My name is Bill from Holidays Lane, where every day is a holiday. And the holiday we're going to be talking about today is Christmas. And it's a nice little kickoff for Christmas in July 2026 because they're going to be talking about what are the Christmas trends that you're going to be seeing in the stores this year, and also what is going to be trending at Holidays Lane. So, for those of you who don't know me, if you are a little new to the channel, my name is Bill, and I make handcrafted, beaded, and sequin ornaments, really for all holidays, but mostly for Christmas. And they have a very retro, vintage kind of vibe to them. So it gives me, the opportunity. Everything's made literally by me by hand, one bead and sequin at a time, in the room that you're looking at right here. So one of the things I think is very fascinating about Christmas trends, whenever you hear about trends, I want to share with you guys before we get into what we're going to see in 2026, sort of a peek behind the curtains and how things work for selling items for Christmas in big box stores or things like that. So, shortly after the Christmas season, in January, February, March timeframe, there's what's called market, and that's where the major manufacturers of Christmas decor all have these elaborate showrooms where they're showing off what can be ordered by the different retailers. So your big box stores are going to have buyers. They will go to these markets and they will see what is being offered for sort of later on that year. So they're basically ordering a year in advance what's going to end up in the stores locally for you to go shopping. So generally what they do, January, February, March, that's when the order placing happens. In the late spring and summer, for big box stores, that's when they're sent off to the offshore where factories to actually do the manufacturing of items, and then the end of summer, early early fall. That's when it actually gets delivered to the various stores, and then they start putting it out. One of the, I guess, good-ish things about that time frame is that because I've just come out of the Christmas season for that previous year, they know what sold, what didn't sell, what went very quickly, and then with that information, that's when they're what they shop for afterwards, so to speak. Now, what's a little different for me is I don't have the need to shop anywhere. I just get a chance to look at what they're seeing. So I have some secret ways that I'm not going to reveal to y'all right now on how I get to see what they're seeing in the stores. But as a small business who's making things, one item at a time, gives me a lot of flexibility too to what I am able to make myself. And then if something is picking up steam early on, then I'll make more of that. If people are not reacting to something I'm making, then I will detour to something else. But even though my items are handmade, handcrafted, I still want to be able to offer things that are going to be complementary to whatever it is. If you were to pop into a big box store and buy some of the larger factory made items, yeah, I want to have stuff available that's going to fit in with that as you're figuring out what your designs are going to be for the year. There's a lot of people that are already planning the type of displays that they're going to do, what their tree colors are going to be in July. So that's one of the reasons why I really like Christmas in July, because that's when we start seeing some of the trends coming out, what's going to come. People start letting me know what they want from me, because they might have a certain color theme, and I'll make sure to work things around there. Um, and even if you're not necessarily a person who is every year completely redesigning your tree or doing a completely different theme, uh, I definitely want to make sure that I have some items that are available for people that, again, will fit in with, if you do decide to go shopping, you're going to get a couple items here, a couple items there, hopefully a couple from me that are a little more bespoke and a little more unique than what you're going to find anywhere else. So through my secret ways, I do have a couple themes and colors that you are going to be seeing most likely this year. Um, some are a continuation of what we may have seen last year. Some, I don't want to say are new, but let's go with no, or new variations of an old theme. First up is going to be your classic traditional red and green. And we did see red and green going away just a little bit for a while. We've had a lot of pastel colors, a lot of bright colors recently, but your old standard of red and Christmas green, they're going to be back this year. So if you want to call it a classic Christmas or a traditional Christmas, you're definitely going to be seeing that. I have an example of one of the ornaments that I have here that kind of fits into that category. And it's this one right here. So it is a red hologram sequin. And when we talk about a hologram sequin, there's like little flecks of, I'm going to call it glitter, but it's embedded in it, so it's not going to get everywhere. And then we have our holly ribbon and a nice red topper right there. So this, and I guess Christmas green would be a little more on like the olive side. Color isn't quite right in the camera here. Let's see if this one is a little closer. I think that's a little closer to Christmas green. The other thing about reds this year is, yes, you have your normal Santa's suit, Santa sleigh red. We're also going to see a lot of really rich, deep, like burgundy reds, as part of what you might have heard last year being referred to as a Ralph Lauren Christmas. So burgundies and champagnes, burgundies and golds, that pairing is going to happen quite a bit this year. When you think about the Ralph Lauren aesthetic, so that's going to be your tartan plaids, your rich velvets, your deep forest greens, your hunter greens, burgundies, again, golds and champagnes mixed into that. So that's definitely something that we're going to see a lot more of this year that started last year. But those really rich jewel tone colors are going to be everywhere. with the Ralph Lauren, though, at least for me, I'm going to be adding a lot of those tartan plaid ribbons paired with those kinds of ornaments. So kind of excited about that. It's a little bit more upscale, a little bit classy. So pretty excited about that one. The next color theme that we have is like a white on white winter kind of tree. So you're gonna start your base with your normal, Christmas tree green color, and then you're going to be adding in a lot of colors to that are shades of white. So we're going to be having a lot of these like cream color, like a chantilly cream, a white, more of like a vanilla. And then mixed in with that, if you think about having your greens mix into that, it's going to blend really nicely there. So you can certainly do your white on white on white, and then just have the greenery kind of poking through, or you can have your white on white on white with green ornaments mixed in, or sprigs, bay leaves, things like that. So this kind of color theme is going to be pretty big. The other thing that you're going to see is a lot of, well, not a lot of, well-placed blues. So blue was trying to be a color last year. We saw a lot of blue trees last year. I don't know how popular they were broadly. I think what's interesting is I do have a DIY ornament kit that's called King's Blue, and that one, so this is an ornament that you can make. So it comes in a kit with all the instructions, like the sequins, the pins, the topper, everything. I've had this particular ornament kit out there for a couple of years now. And what's fascinating to me is all of a sudden this year, this particular ornament has really started taking off. So I've sold a good amount of these this year. And as part of my collection that I'm going to be doing, I'm definitely going to be adding some more blues in there. But I want to get to the white on white and white again with a color choice. So blue with that is certainly something that is going to look really good together if you get all the different shades of whites. Plum is another color. So I know purples are relatively popular for people that love purple, really love purple. So that'll be something that's nice to mix into those white on white on whites. So Joan Dickey had asked, do you think metallics will be a thing this year? Yes and no. So what's really interesting that we're seeing this year is not all metallics and not all mattes this year, but different finishes in the same color. So if it's your blue or your green, we might see some matte green mixed in with some shiny metallic, with some glittery green, and all that mixing together. So this year is really, I guess, building on that Ralph Lauren vibe of adding texture in addition to color this year. The other thing, non-ornament related, but just decor related, this is the year of the ribbon. So if you like wide, thick, like 4-inch ribbon, 2-inch ribbon, that is really ornate, wired ribbon, That's something we are going to see a lot more this year. It seems like a lot of the designer trees in those showrooms I was talking about at the top of the video, uh, they're they're all covered in ribbon and have ribbons woven throughout. So if you have a lot of those like velvet textures in the ribbon with your gold accents, then pairing that with, like for me, for sequins, hologram, super sparkly, metallic sequins to play off of that is a really great pairing that's going to feel pretty rich in your trees. And honestly, I say trees, but you can apply this to any greenery at all. So yes, the Christmas tree, you can do that for if you have swags on your mantle pieces, arches on doors. If you're mixing greenery in on either your tablescape or like a coffee table, layering in some ornaments in addition to that has a great look. So they are pretty versatile that way. So thanks for the question. I have my notes, and I had a lot to cover, so I want to make sure I'm getting everything here. I'm going to come back to the greens again. So the sort of natural vibe of greens. So I said, your white on white on white with a touch of green. There's also a lot of green with hints of your beiges, I'm going to go back to champagne colors again. Very natural looking trees and color combinations. I know a couple years ago, woodland themes were super big. I don't think it's necessarily going away, but it's shifted just a little bit this year. But those definitely look really good together. Let me see if I can get the cream. So if we have more of our creams and our greens. Oh, actually, sorry. Let's do it this way, because we're doing more green with this one, So you have your darker greens and your creams, and that really does, that natural feel to it, natural look, I think is really going to be pretty. And then in there, you can sprinkle in pine cones, other natural elements. Again, bay leaves on sprigs are great additions. And then, of course, you have your ribbons that you're going to do. There's a little bit of whimsical Christmas, and this slightly ties into the classic Christmas. But if you think about like a carnival vibe to Christmas, where it is not Grinch and Grinchmas, because that has a very specific look to it, but like Grinch adjacent is, I think, going to be big this year. So carnival animals, carousels, the white and red striped kind of items. You're going to see some of those in really large formats of items, so supersized items. I don't think I'm going to have too many of those myself. I think I'm going to be sticking a little more to the classics and the colors that I talked about today. But you might see some of those in the big box stores coming up. So I think that's where we're at for Christmas 2026. So if you head over to my website, holidayslane.com, you'll see all the items I have available now. I am going to be adding things as I make them. This is when I start really ramping up making things and putting them on the website. If you check the links in the description, that will take you to the website. I do also have a shop on Etsy. I think the link is also in there. I'm just going to say prices are a little bit higher on the Etsy shop just because of their fees. So if you want lower prices and the same service, then head on over to holidayslane.com for my website and make sure to get it there. The other thing, and I should have probably said this at the beginning, so I do look at my YouTube statistics, and I noticed that there's a lot of people, or a high percentage of people, that are watching my videos, but they're not subscribers. So I'm going to ask for a favor. If you've made it this far in the video, and if you like hearing about all things holidays, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. That would make me feel a lot better when I'm looking at my statistics, and it'll also make sure that when either I go live or I post a new video, that you're going to know about it and will be able to take a look at it. I don't know if anybody has any Christmas questions. I'd be more than happy to answer them if you want to put it in the chat. Otherwise, I think that is everything that I had today. And keep an eye out for the channel for some smaller bits of Christmas decor tips for this year, and get your planning started for 2026 Christmas. Thanks, everybody, and yeah, have a great night.